The sea is the unlimited source from which we can create new fresh water through desalination, Awerbuch Director, International Desalination Association, told Filtration Separation, and Seawater Desalination offers the potential for an abundant and steady source of fresh water purified from the vast oceans. Desalination has decisively proven, during the last 40 years, its reliability to deliver large quantities of fresh water from the sea, he continued, so we can no longer view fresh water as an infinitely renewable resource because, unlike oil, fresh water has no viable substitute. As of 2015, roughly 18,000 desalination plants were in operation worldwide, 44% of them being located in the Middle East and North Africa. All told, they produce 22,870 million gallons of drinking water per day. These two distillation technologies are not mutually exclusive and have been combined into hybrid MSF/RO systems numerous times in the past 2 decades. These hybrid systems work much the same way combined cycle natural gas turbines do, with the MSF system generating low-pressure steam that can be used to drive a mechanical RO distillation process. Hybrid plants can also be combined with conventional power plants and renewable energy sources, using excess electrical power generated by those systems to drive the distillation. Take the soon-to-be-completed Al Kafji desalination plant in the UAE, for example. It will produce 60,000 cubic meters of water per day while drawing power from a grid-connected solar power plant spanning more than 119 hectares and generating up to of power. Of course, cost and power consumption aren't the only hurdles desalination must overcome. There are a number of environmental impacts that need to be addressed as the technology becomes more common, the first being, what do we do with all this brine? Brine is the high salinity leftovers from the desalination process. It is produced at the same rate as fresh water in that for every 2 gallons of seawater that come in, 1 gallon of fresh and 1 gallon of brine go out. Coastal desalination plants often simply dump the brine back out into the ocean, however, that can wreak havoc on the local wildlife population. Since brine is denser than the seawater around it, the brine will quickly sink and spread out along the seafloor, shrouding it in a low-oxygen film which suffocates any marine life caught the area. One potential solution to the intake issue is to suck the water in from underground. Subsurface intakes are being used in a growing number of plants around the world, as new drilling technologies like the directional drilling that has made hydraulic fracturing possible have made subsurface intakes possible in more locations, Heather Cooley, co-director of the Pacific Institute Water Program, said in a 2013 statement. Now, even where the site is surrounded by generally unfavorable conditions, it may be possible to find a pocket with the right ones. Unfortunately, installing these sorts of intakes is very expensive, especially in cases like the proposed Poseidon Resources desalination plant in Huntington Beach in Orange County, California, where the entire seabed above the intakes would have to be dredged and excavated, then replaced with a different kind of soil more amenable to the saltwater incursion. The company also estimates that the intake's construction costs would tack on an extra $1 to $1.5 billion to the $2 billion plant itself. What's more, the environmental costs in doing that could be astronomical. That's not to say that commercial scale, and commercially viable, desalination plants are unobtainable. Just look at what Israel has managed to do. In 2004, the country pulled all of its potable water from the ground or collected it from rain. Today, 5 desalination plants provide 2/3 of the nation's drinking water, nearly 582 million cubic meters of water annually. The Awerbuch plant, the country's latest and largest, churns out 627,000 cubic meters of water per day alone.